In this video, we'll be configuring an automated solution using the Laserfiche integration with Ellucian Banner through the Ellucian Ethos platform. This integration allows us to push and pull data between the two systems without the need for custom code. It's available through Laserfiche Cloud and can be used with the process automation toolset. In order to set up our process, we'll first need to establish an application connection to our Ellucian Banner system. Then, using that connection, we can add lookups into forms in business processes to pull data from Banner to display to users. Finally, in Workflow, we can use the integration to retrieve and update student information. To begin, we'll need to navigate to the Integrations page in Laserfiche Process Automation. From this screen, we can choose the Application Connections tab on the left, then choose to add a new connection. First, we can select Ellucian as the connection type, then give the connection a name, and optionally a description. Clicking Next will take us to the connection setup page. The region will be set to US by default, but we can change this to match the Ellucian region for our system. Next, we can enter the API key obtained from Ellucian. Clicking Verify will confirm that the connection is valid. Once the connection is verified, we can continue by moving to the Objects tab. This is where we'll map the Laserfiche connection fields to the fields in Ellucian Banner. On the left-hand side, we can see the list of connection fields that Laserfiche has available. These are the fields that can be used as inputs and outputs when configuring lookups and actions in business processes and workflow. On the right, we can select which field in Ellucian should correspond with each field in Laserfiche. For some connection fields, such as ID and username, there is a one-to-one mapping, which can't be changed. For others, such as billing address and name, Ellucian has many different data types that could be mapped to the Laserfiche connection fields. When first setting up the connection, the data types will have default mappings applied, but these can be updated as needed. It's recommended to avoid mapping the same Ellucian field to multiple Laserfiche connection fields, as duplicate mappings can lead to unexpected behavior. If duplicate mappings are selected, a warning will appear until a different field is chosen. Here the warning shows that the same mapping has been selected for both billing and mailing address, so let's change one of those mappings. Now we can map the rest of the fields. Once all fields have been mapped appropriately, we can save the connection. Now it will be available to use in business processes and workflows. Let's start by setting up a lookup rule to pull information from Ellucian Banner to a form so that a student can submit an information change request. To do this, let's navigate to the Business Processes section. Here we have a change of student information process we've already started building. Let's open it and add our lookup rule. Opening our form, we can move to the Lookup Rules tab to begin setting up the rule. Let's add a new rule and set the rule type to Application Connection. Then we can select the connection that we just set up. Finally, we can choose which action to complete. Based on the action type that we choose, we'll be able to take a Banner ID number, username, email, or a combination to search Banner and retrieve the matching student information. In addition to the student information searches, we can also get a list of marital status and ethnicities from Banner to populate a drop-down in forms. This could be useful to ensure that formatting matches exactly what is expected in Banner if an update is needed. For this example, let's choose to run the Search by Banner ID action. First, we'll need to map a form field containing the student's Banner ID to the connection field for the Banner ID. Once a match is found, we can populate the corresponding form fields with that data. To determine which fields are filled with the resulting data, we'll map each form field to the data we want it to display. On this form, we'll want to display the student's current name, address, contact info, and more. In addition to the student's information, we can also retrieve the person ID field from our banner connection. This is a unique identifier for the student, which will be required later if we update the student's information using workflow. Now that we've mapped our fields, we can save the changes and preview the form. Entering a student's banner ID, Laserfiche will use the connection that we set up to pull the matching student information and use it to populate the fields on the form. Now that our lookup is working, we can close the preview and return to the process diagram. Once the form is submitted and approved, we can use a workflow task to trigger a workflow that updates the student's information in Banner. In this task, we'll map the updated student information as business process variables on the left to the workflow inputs on the right. Once we've mapped all the data, we can open our workflow to finish the configuration. Here we have a workflow started to update the student information in Banner. Let's open the workflow. On the right-hand side, we can see that we've allowed this workflow to be started by our business process and configure the input parameters to contain the data collected in the process. The workflow has already been set up to branch based on the changes selected by the student, but we still need to configure the update if the email address is chosen to be changed. To do this, we can add the Execute Application Action activity to our canvas. We'll start by giving our activity an informative name. Now we can choose to use the connection we set up earlier. Like before, we can choose the action that we'd like to complete, but in Workflow, we have the choice to update student information in addition to retrieving it. Let's choose to make an update and use the person ID that we retrieved earlier to locate the student's information. Now we can map the connection field linked to Banner to the updated email address submitted by the student. Similarly, we can use activities to update the student's name, address, and other information based on what the student selected to be changed. Using the Laserfiche integration with Ellucian Banner through the Ellucian Ethos platform, we can configure automated processes to retrieve and update student information without needing custom code. For more information and detailed instructions, please refer to our help documentation. Thank you.